Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Today I've got 15 video editing features that I want to show you inside of Canva. There's some really great new video editing options that are going to allow you to create some awesome videos inside of Canva. But enough of my faith, let's get into Canva. But I first want to mention Epidemic Sound, who are sponsoring this video. So thank you, Epidemic Sound, for sponsoring this video. The first tip I've got for you is to actually start with a video editing template. If you start with a normal template, you're not going to see all of the video editing options. So let's click on videos and let's start with a normal size video. This is a 1920 by 1080 video. We've also got all sorts of other ratios that we can choose from TikTok to YouTube videos, but we're going to start with 1920 by 1080. Now we're inside of the video editing options. You'll see the difference is that when you actually start with a video editing template, you have this play button down the bottom here. If you don't see this play button option down the bottom here, that means you're not in the video editing options inside of Canva, and you're probably on the other type of templates that you can create, which are static with animations. And I've got a whole video on that I'll link down in the description below. But this is actually video editing options, and you get this timeline down the bottom here. So I'm just going to come over and I'm click on videos, and I'm just going to add some stock video footage. Now, once we've got our video added to the page, you can right click and you can set this video as the background, and that's going to cover the whole of the background. Once it's covered the whole of the background, you'll see you can have the option up here to duplicate the page. The other place you can duplicate the page is down here and these three dots, and you can also duplicate the page here, or press Ctrl D, Command D to duplicate the page. Now with the video selected, you can come up to Edit Video, and on here, this is where you're going to be able to use the background remover tool. And the background remover tool is probably not going to work very well on this particular video because it is pretty much the background. But if you've got something moving in front of it or something like that, you can then choose the video background remover and start using that in the video editing options. Next, if you want to give your video a particular look or feel, you've got all these different video filters that you can choose. You can see it actually changes the color of your video and the look and the feel to give it either a retro vibe or a more muted kind of vibe or anything else like that, just like you would on an Instagram image or something like that. Now, if none of those actually suit you, or you don't quite match the kind of vibe that you want to go for, you can also come over to this adjust option. You can change the warmth, the tint, the brightness, the highlights, and you can see where I've got a filter added, it's actually changed some of those. So if you wanted to come in and change those, so if your contrast wasn't quite right and you wanted to change your contrast, you can do, and that's going to adjust the way your video looks. Now the next one is a brand new feature in Canva that's just come out, and that is once you've got your video selected, if you choose this playback option here, you can now change the video speed, and you can go down all the way down to 0.25 or a quarter of the speed, or you can go all the way up to double the speed of your video. If you're using video inside of a presentation, you can also loop that or choose to autoplay inside of a presentation also. Next, let's take a look at transitions inside of Canva and how you can use transitions to change the way your video looks, going from one image or one video to the next video. So down here where we've duplicated the page, in between this, if you hover down in between this, you'll be able to see you can add in a transition. You can also choose to add a page, or you can choose to add in a transition. And this is where you're going to be able to get all of your different transitions, whether that's a dissolve, slide, and you can change the direction of which some of these transitions actually work, whether it's like color wipe or line wipe or anything else like that, and it's going to transition from one image to the next. And with certain ones of these, you can say on the circle wipe here, you can change whether you want it to be in or whether you want it to be out. So if you click around and have a play about with the different transitions that you've got in there, and if you want to have a look at this match and move video, I've put a link in the description to how you can create some amazing videos with the match and move options inside of Canva. I've got a whole separate video dedicated to that, so I'll link that down in the description below, and it's also going to be on the end card at the end of this video. The next thing with transitions is you can change the duration of the transition, and as you change the duration of these, you'll notice down on the timeline here there's this like little purple overlay, and that's going to show you the length of the transition that's going to take place. So it's going to start the transition at this point and it's going to transition out to this point, and that's the kind of the overlapping element of the video that's going to be created. Next, I want to show you some of the awesome ways that you can add music to your videos inside of Canva. But I first want to mention Epidemic Sound, who are sponsoring this video. So thank you, Epidemic Sound, for sponsoring this video. Let me show you where I get my music from using Epidemic Sound. So because I've got my YouTube channel linked to Epidemic Sound, when I first come into Epidemic Sound, it's going to have these options here and recommended for me based on my YouTube channel. So I can just come down and it knows the kind of music that I'm normally using in my videos. So it's going to come down and it's going to actually choose some of those options for me and give me recommendations that I can use to put in the background or use as on my videos. And if for any reason any of these aren't ones that kind of like are vibing with me today, I can just click the refresh option as many times as I want, and that's going to then give me some different options inside of Epidemic Sound. I can also come down to the browse option and browse any of the latest kind of like music trends that are going to be out there. We've got different moods, we've got different themes, and we've even got sound effects. We've got all sorts of different sound effects, whether that's whoosh, footsteps, all sorts of props or ambience kind of music. So if you're creating a video in Canva and you want to find something that's got a bit more ambience, some like maybe waves crashing or weather, or you've got different car sounds that you can use, they're all here inside of the sound effects options. Now, if you want to try Epidemic Sound yourselves, I've put a link down below to a 30-day trial of Epidemic Sound. Give it a go yourself, have a play about, look for some music, create some videos in Canva, and tag me in those videos if you're sharing those videos on social media, or put a comment down below of those videos. I'd love to see what it is you're creating. So this down here in the bottom left-hand corner is some track that I've just downloaded. I can just click and drag that on, and that's going to drag and upload it to my audio uploads. You can see all the different audio that I've created or uploaded here from Epidemic Sound. They always start with ES, so I know it's come from Epidemic Sound, which is really great. Now, when it comes to adding music to your videos inside of Canva, if you change where your playhead is at, and that's where you want the music to start, you can then just click the audio track file up here on your uploads, and that's going to then add the audio file to the playhead or where the playhead starts. So if you wanted it to start at the beginning, you'd have to have your playhead at the beginning. Now, if you've added the track to a particular part of the video, starting at a particular part of the video that you didn't want it to start at, and you wanted it to start earlier, all you have to do is click and drag, and that's going to allow you to then adjust where that track starts playing from. The other option with adding music to your Canva video is if you click and drag this over, you can now drop the music on. Now, with this still selected, you can see I can choose which part of the video I want that music to start playing from, whether it's here or here. If I want to replace the video, I can just drag it over the existing track, and that's going to then replace that particular audio track, or I can add multiple audio tracks to my Canva videos just by clicking on the line down below. One of the biggest things that people have been asking for is to be able to fade in and fade out of your music, and you can now do that with the audio track selected. If you come up to audio effects, you can now choose how long you want that audio effect to fade in or that track to fade out. So whether it's what type of audio you've got, and you'll see down the bottom here, you'll see this line down here that's actually created, and that's where it's going to be fading in, and then down at the bottom here you'll be able to see that it's actually fading out. Now, I've just realized whilst recording this, I've not actually put on my list text animations and how you can now create text animation and overlays for your videos inside of Canva. Let's dive in and take a look at those. So let's say this is an establishing shot and you wanted to add some text overlay. Let's say I wanted to say this was vlog day 1, and I want to change the color of that. I can change the size. You know how to do all this, and I can change how that looks, and I can position that in the center and in the middle. Now let's say I want to adjust the timing of this. You can do that. So I can add different text effects to this if I wanted to. I can make it stand out a little bit more. That makes it pop from the background. I can then choose animate, and I can choose something like wipe, pop, baseline, or even typewriter. One of my favorites for this is typewriter. You can then adjust whether you want that to be on enter or on exit. I tend to have it just on enter, and then it just pops off the screen. And you can also change the speed of this, so you can have it go slower or faster, and then you can also have it by word. But let's say we wanted to add some more text on there. Let's say we wanted to say driving along the beach. We're going to change that and we're going to then position that down a little bit further, and we want to put that down below. Let's center that, let's animate that. First of all, what we want to do is I want to add the lift option to that, and I want to change the text color to white. Now we've got this, we can add our animation. Again, if we want to add our typewriter, we can do that. We can change the speed of it. I just want it to have it on enter. Now I don't want this to play across the whole part of this track. What I can do now, or what you can do inside of Canva now, is actually highlight both of those, show timing, and then down in the bottom here, we can actually see the timing. This top one is where it says vlog day 1. I want that to just come on at the bottom, and then I want it to say last for 3 seconds. And let's say this is starting to get a little bit complicated because it's a little bit tiny down there. We can come down to the bottom and we can zoom into our timeline so we can start seeing that at a much more granular level. And let's say this particular part of the text, I don't want that to come on at the same time as the vlog day 1. I want that to come on at say 0.7 seconds. I can then drag that. So you can see as we start playing this back, it's going to change how those elements look and how those come onto the screen. So let's click play. And you can see I've had that vlog day 1. Let's do it slightly different. So if we come over to the typewriter effect, I want it to be on enter and by character. Let's come back to the beginning of the playhead, and we want to... You can see that slight separation of where the vlog day 1 comes on. That grabs your attention, and then underneath it's giving a bit more of an explanation as to what it is you're actually going to be doing on that day in your video. Now, the last thing I want to show you on this video, and that is exporting your video and the options you've got for now exporting your video inside of Canva. So we're going to come over to the share option and then come to download with MP4 selected, and this is a Canva Pro option. So there is a 45-day trial down below if you want to try Canva Pro, but you can now choose between 480p or even all the way up to 4K video. So if you wanted to export your videos in 4K to be able to upload to things like YouTube or any other social media platform, if you're wanting to create a 4K video, you can now export your video in Canva in 4K. So excited to see this. I really do want to see all the videos and all the types of videos that you're creating, either on social media or playing about with any of these options. Do tag me. All the links are down below. Thanks very much, and until next time, bye for now.